On January 16th, 2026, this year, President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Mark Carney from Canada had an amazing visit and meeting where they came up with a new strategic partnership focused on areas like energy, agriculture, trade, clean technology, finance, climate change, and most importantly, Canada's efforts to diversify trade away from heavy U.S. reliance amid gigantic global shifts. Interesting? It sure is. Let's talk about it. 大家好，我是 Surant 在中国. Hey everyone, it's Surant in China. How y'all doing today? I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm having a great day as usual over here in South China, and it's getting better all the time. I'm changing up my format again, and I'm looking forward to getting more views and more support from my viewers, and you can help me out. It's as easy as throwing me a thumbs up if you like the video, hitting that subscribe button, clicking one of the links or barcodes on the screen. But otherwise, just watching my videos right to the end is always a great idea too. Thank you so much for your assistance. 谢谢你们. And now, let's get to the topic of this monumental new strategic partnership between President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Mark Carney, bringing Canada and China closer together as trading partners and relieving some of the tension that has been experienced in the past with Chinese tariffs on Canadian agricultural products and, of course, the oppressive 100% tariff on Chinese EVs. Now, this is going to have massive implications, not just for Canada and China, but for our rather grumpy southern dictator, who is, emphasis on dick, by the way, who is going to really, really hate this idea. And we'll talk in a little bit about how we could see this manifest in the future. But for now, the primary emphasis of this strategic partnership, this negotiation, is to reduce trade barriers and cut tariffs. Primarily, in the case of Canada, tariffs on agricultural products like canola oil, fish, etc. And from the Chinese side, cutting the tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles, which I think is a fantastic idea. Now, the tariffs were not removed completely. It is not a free trade agreement. However, they were reduced dramatically, especially in the case of the EVs, where the tariff rate went from 100% to 6.1%, which is fantastic news, not just for Chinese EV makers, but for Canadian citizens in general. Chinese electric vehicles have become world leaders, not just in their ability, functioning, safety, and reliability, but also in their cost effectiveness. However, with a 100% tariff, that cost effectiveness goes right out the window. But now, finally, with just a 6.1% tariff, Canadians will be able to afford the same type of amazing electric vehicle that I get to experience and enjoy over here in China for a very, very reasonable amount of money. Some are saying that it will be under $35,000 for top-end Chinese electric vehicles. Now, they're not flooding the market in Canada by any means with Chinese EVs. So far, Canada is allowing 49,000 Chinese EVs into the market first, which is understandable. Get the market flowing, and if there is genuine interest from the Canadian people, then things really get good. Then China will start negotiating to open manufacturing plants within Canada, which will hire Canadian employees, Canadian workers, will pay Canadian taxes, will utilize Canadian utilities, etc., and bring more money into the country. So not only will the consumers save some money, but it will stimulate the economy in untold new ways. It is a fantastic idea. and really reduces the authoritarian stranglehold that has been on the Canadian economy by the US government. Not just this current moron who's in the White House, but for generations of American, I wouldn't want to call it diplomacy, but terrorism, economic terrorism, as has been experienced by Canada. And this has gone on since every North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, or whatever you want to call it now. It is still 150% geared towards the USA coming out as the winner and Canada coming out as the loser. This has got to change, and it is. This economic union with China is going to change everything, and not just with Canadians being able to buy cheap electric vehicles. On the other side of the coin, with China reducing dramatically tariffs and opening trade on agricultural products, this could bring an estimated $3 billion into the Canadian economy this year alone. $3 billion that has been lost in the Canadian economy due to DJT, Donald Jackass Tariff, who has been tariffing not just Canada, but every country on the planet, and reducing business, reducing income, reducing jobs for Canadian people. So by diversifying these new trade routes for agricultural products, energy products, all manner of services, it is going to be a massive boon for Canadian citizens. Who gives a shit what the orange monkey thinks about it down south? Now, are there dangers to this new economic union? Well, if you listen to the northern morons like Poilievre and Doug Ford, they'll say, oh, they're going to use those 49,000 electric vehicles to spy on Canadians, to see where they're going. It's a data breach. It's terrible. It's... Come on. Come on. Who's going to be buying these 49,000 cheap electric vehicles? Prime ministers, government leaders, CEOs, tech giants? No. They're going to continue buying their German and American luxury cars so that they can spy on them instead, right? So the people who are going to be buying these EVs are going to be the liberals, the hippies, the people concerned about the environment, the people concerned about saving a little bit of money. So what kind of data is China going to be stealing from these people? Oh, he's gone to Whole Foods, and now he's gone to the yoga center, and oh my God, he's stopping at the liquor store. Write all this down. This is going to be vital data to be used against the Canadian population someday. Whereas every politician, every corporate leader, every high mucky muck person in the country has one of these. And every one of these things, whether it's made by a Japanese company, a Korean company, an American company, they're all made in China. How hard would it be to put a little chip inside that harvested every piece of data that they put in, from their financial reports, their documents, their texts, their spoken conversations with customers, government leaders, their spy plans, etc.? You think dipshit J. Trump doesn't have one of these things? This is how China would spy on people if they wanted to, not their cars. Good grief. However, there is a danger. There really is. For example, if Canada starts selling the majority of its oil and energy products to China, they're going to be sending it via this newly created pipeline going to Vancouver, where it can be shipped with ease to customers overseas, i.e. China. So what can Donald Trump do about that? Well, nothing officially, but mark my words, this is just a prediction. There is no proof, no evidence of this, so don't call the FBI. But I predict in the future we could see something like a accidental pipeline explosion or acts of eco-terrorism, which attempt to stop this flow of oil, attempt to stop these flows of agricultural and energy and technology goods to and from China. And where might these attacks be coming from? Well, I don't know. Is there any country that you can think of that does this type of thing all the time? Bombs other countries, perhaps, oh, I don't know, kidnaps their presidents, has certain secret organizations that go into countries and influence elections and assassinate. No, no, no. That's just all in movies and books, right? That doesn't happen in real life. So, yes, I think that once this strategic partnership grows and grows, it is going to increase trade to our Asian partners, China in particular, and massively decrease trade and dealings with the dickheads to the south. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not calling the American people dickheads. The American people are good people. I will say that here and I will say that now. However, the dickheads are the ones that are running their country, and they are running those people's lives, those good people's lives, into the dirt. All of these tariffs that dickhead J Tariff Man loves so much, he still doesn't have the knowledge to comprehend that these are hurting his people more than they are hurting the rest of the world. And I think that is going to be America's first attack, because it's the only one that dumbass actually knows about, even though he doesn't know how it actually works, is he is going to levy massive tariffs on Canadian products, Canadian energy, and Canada in general, which is fine. Bring it on. Elbows up, Canada. Elbows up. Because now we are getting smart and diversifying trade to other countries. And thanks to Mark Carney and his innovative ideas of breaking free from the tyranny of the USA and its very unfair trade policies, Canada now is poised to become the great powerhouse it used to be and deserves to become again. Let's all hope that this goes through and the top leaders in Canada don't get scared by the shenanigans of our US counterparts and actually stay strong and really do get those elbows up, because it's going to be the best thing that ever happens to this country. This China trade is going to be amazing. And there will be some other benefits coming from it too, which we'll talk about in another video. That's all I've got for you today. We'll see you in the next video. Zai Jen.